Imagine being caught in a barrage of bullets so dense that they obscure the sun. Picture witnessing boys, farmers, blacksmiths, and dreamers collapse like ragdolls. Envision enduring the loss of three horses shot dead beneath you, only to come to the grim realization that the worst horrors are still to unfold. This is Shiloh, and what General William Tecumseh Sherman observed here did not merely astonish him. It irrevocably shattered the illusion of war's glory. Tonight, we reveal Sherman's own words, hidden for over 160 years, chronicling the battle that nearly broke his spirit, a confrontation where the dead outnumbered the living, where young soldiers succumbed to terror, and where even the ground appeared to bleed. This is not the sanitized version of history you have been taught. This is unfiltered. This is authentic, and Sherman's narrative, tainted with gunpowder, sorrow, and the odor of death, will compel you to reevaluate everything you believed about the Civil War. What did Sherman witness that day? Why did he feel compelled to write, "I may not survive this place"? And what haunting truth regarding Shiloh's 2,000 unburied corpses did he implore his wife to conceal from their children for eternity? But before we commence, please remember to like and subscribe to our channel to support our community. My dearest Ellen, we have endured a fierce battle where bullets flew as thick as summer hail. I am alive, although a stray buckshot grazed my hand and a spent bullet bruised my shoulder, mere trifles compared to the devastation surrounding me. The first horse I rode here was a sorrel mare captured from the enemy, swift as a hawk and smooth as silk, a creature I had come to cherish. She was struck by a bullet, then another, and fell lifeless beneath me last Sunday, amidst the thunderous crossfire. There was no time to recover the saddle or holsters. I jumped onto my aide McCoy's horse until it too was shot down, followed by my surgeon's mount, both of which were slain. The poor creature's eyes continue to haunt me, glassy and wide like saucers. Our camp, set up ahead of the others, faced the storm's initial wrath. Tents plundered, two horses tied near my quarters, were slaughtered. I find myself without a horse now, scavenging equipment from the fallen as if I were a grave robber. The first casualty of the battle was my orderly, Holiday, a courageous and handsome young man who was struck down beside me. That bullet was intended for my heart. When the gunfire ceased, I had his body transported back and interred beneath a tree, torn apart by musket fire, its top severed by cannon. Such are the scars this conflict has left on me. My men were as inexperienced as the wheat of April. Some regiments disintegrated at the initial volleys, boys crying for their mothers as they fled. Others remained steadfast, their jaws clenched tightly. I managed to gather enough strength to maintain command and led the first return to our lines, rallying them with curses and promises. Sunday's confrontation was pure hell. They overwhelmed our left flank by the river, but I secured the right a mile and a half away, buying time for Crump's reinforcements and Buell's arrival. Beauregard, Bragg, Johnston, all their high-ranking officers and finest men were present, parading like peacocks before the impending storm. Later, among the captives, I encountered Barrow, an old Louisiana cadet, his uniform caked with mud and defiance. He sought me out, sharing stories of commanders who had relished the prospect of facing me. I offered him socks, a shirt, and kindness, small acts of mercy in this God-forsaken conflict. I will refrain from detailing the battle. Others will depict it more grandly. Grant's report commends my actions, although I have fought to remain in the shadows. Fate propels me forward. Resistance is futile. One Sunday victory. Buell arrived just in time, fresh Kentucky troops surging from the docks towards Shiloh like a tidal wave. I held the right, ready to advance when his line met mine, the ground shaking beneath their feet. This was accomplished, and I moved toward the road, finally reaching it approximately 500 yards ahead, right where the fiercest fighting had taken place. There I encountered the same Kentucky troops I had commanded at Muldrow Hill. They recognized me immediately, erupting into cheers louder than thunder. Caps were thrown high, as if celebrating a bountiful harvest. I requested to move through their ranks, and they handed me the lead, pressing canteens and hardtack into my hands as if they were offerings. Since that moment, I've traversed their camps, welcomed by salutes and smiles that no officer could overlook. Raw, sincere faces illuminated by campfires. John's brigade has also joined us, sharing stories of their own narrow escapes. By my count, we must now have 75,000 men, perhaps even more. These figures finally correspond with what I've long insisted upon. Halleck is marching here with reinforcements, although I will believe it when I see his dusty boots. We have faced attacks, been pushed back, yet we have remained steadfast. Now it is our opportunity to strike. We would advance today if it were not for the accursed rain, transforming roads into rivers of mud, with wagons sinking axle deep. The enemy intended to crush us before Buell's arrival. They failed, but not for lack of effort. The horrors of this battlefield would drain any spirit of the romance of war. Bodies contorted, limbless, headless, horses bloated and decaying, their stench clinging to my garments. We have buried nearly 2,000 since the battle concluded, each shovelful heavier than the last. Our wounded and theirs fill every barn, tent, and steamboat cabin, moans rising like a lamentable choir. My division once numbered 8,000, half fled like shadows at dawn, their courage dissipated by cannon smoke. Of those who remained, 302 soldiers and 16 officers lie dead. Over 1,200 are bleeding. I will spare you the tales of battle. The accounts of others will depict it more vividly. Save clippings with my name for Willie's education. Bury the slanders. Allow yourself to believe I am a soldier of green stature. The savagery of this war, heaps of dead gentlemen, screams of the injured, leaves me yearning for peace. He remarked, I know it will not arrive for years. I will likely perish here, another name on a splintered cross. You inquire about money? I possess none. Breckinridge's rebels pillaged my camp, stealing horse, saddle, bridle, even my bed. Forget currency, plant a garden, raise potatoes, beans, and learn to live frugally. This war will not spare us, Allen. I pray it spares our son. Sherman endured Shiloh. However, the individual who penned this letter did not. Not truly. What emerged from that Tennessee nightmare was something more frigid, more unyielding. A general shaped not by tactics, but by disgrace. Disgrace for the inexperienced soldiers he failed to safeguard. Disgrace for the honor he once held dear. And disgrace for the transformation he understood he would have to undergo to conclude this conflict. Yet there is something Sherman did not disclose to Ellen. Something he could not. The reality regarding that cheer from Kentucky. You see, those soldiers did not merely acknowledge him that day. They were afraid of him. Because Sherman had glimpsed the future. A future where Atlanta lay in ruins, where cities crumbled to dust, where mercy perished alongside the horses at Shiloh. And now a question lingers over these blood-drenched fields. Did this battle give rise to a monster, or did it merely unveil the one we have always been? The true terror is not what Sherman witnessed at Shiloh. It is what Shiloh perceived within him, and within us. Remain inquisitive. Remain haunted. And bear in mind every war encompasses two battles, the one waged with bullets and the one fought long after in the stillness.